Hi there. Welcome to another episode of Podcast Season 3 brought to you by ISAC Sri Lanka. Well, this is episode number 6, and I'm your host for the day, Kaveshka Pereira. Right. So, reminding you, this is brought to you as a production of the National Showcasing team of ISAC. And we've come a long way, finishing off 5 episodes in this series. And here we are with an extra special episode because today we've not got just one speaker, we've got a whole lot of them, a whole package of them that will be sharing their hands on experiences in their journeys so that you could take the maximum from their lives as well and impart them in your lives and groom yourselves, add value to your lives as well. So, let me remind you how you can listen to us and watch us, the previous recordings or rather the previous episodes, this and all that is yet to come. So you can always tune in to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor.fm, YouTube, and the Facebook page of ISAC Sri Lanka. Now, if I'm to recap the last episode where we brought you or we spoke on the topic of changing your lifestyle through creativity. Now, this season or season 3 of podcast brought to you by ISAC Sri Lanka is around the topic or the tagline creativity without constraints. And that's our focus to add value, to add creativity, and give you insights of different individuals of how creativity can be applied in our day to day lives, in what we do, and on things that we are passionate about. So, ladies and gentlemen, here we are with episode 6 once again. And this episode, like I told you, is going to be special and is going to be around the topic specifically on impactful leadership through creativity. Impactful leadership through creativity. And we've got few, or rather 7 individuals to be precise, that will be talking to you with me today. And all 7 of them are special because they are the presidents of different ISAC entities at different institutions in Sri Lanka. And it is indeed an honor and a privilege to have them because this is going to be one-to-one and hands-on experience that will be shared with you and I and with everyone listening to us and viewing us. Right. So first of all, we've got Sandeshi Bandar Naika from ISAC in University of Colombo. Hi, Sandeshi. Welcome on board.
Hi, Kavishka. Thanks for having me.
Pleasure. And next up, we have Dinushi Disanayaka from ISAC in University of Kelaniya. Hi, Dinushi. Dinushi. Hi. Good having all of you. Right. And next, we've got Minoal Jaikodi from ISAC in University of Moratuwa. Minoal. Hi, and welcome on board.
Hi, Kavishka. It's nice being here.
Nice being here and nice seeing you as well. And Sandun Tarindu next up from ISAC in University of Peradeniya. Hi there, welcome on board, Sandun.
Hi, Kavishka. It's nice to be here.
Hi, welcome. And next up, we have Vikum Jaikon from ISAC in University of Sri Jawadhanapura. Vikum, welcome on board.
Yeah, hi Kavishka, good to be here.
Great. And next up, we have Lahiru Dasanayaka, ISAC in University of Ruhuna. Lahiru, welcome. Hi. Right. At last, but not at least, we've got Dulanda Yapa from ISAC in Slit. Dulanda, welcome on board.
Hi, Kavishka. It's a pleasure.
Great. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the panel that is going to be in conversation with us throughout the day. 7 individuals, 7 presidents from different experiences, backgrounds, different universities and faculties that they've been involved with. They've been involved with hands-on experience on different projects. Sharing their experiences and getting the maximum of their experiences is what you and I, or rather what I'm going to do today. So do stay tuned throughout. And in the usual way, we are going to have 3 segments today, starting off with a little bit icebreaker, where we'll speak to our 7 individuals, and then it'll be one-to-one questions where we'll get the best out of them to get the best experience sharing of how they've handled situations, of the memories that they cherish and they hold on to over the years that they've been involved in ISAC as well. And then we move on to the final segment, which is the hot seat segment, where we are going to go have one-to-one questions, quick questions, and have a little bit of interesting things out of them as well. Right. To start off, So this is an icebreaker question that will go out to all 7 individuals, but necessarily it shouldn't be only the 7 of them. So each and every one of you listening to us, or rather watching us, you can also comment if you are involved in ISAC, if you've been following ISAC, if you're eager and interested in joining ISAC. You can also feel free to comment with your opinions, with your answers to these icebreaker questions, and anything and everything that happens during these episodes of ISAC Podcast Season 3, brought to you by ISAC Sri Lanka. So let's get into the conversation. So the icebreaker question, ladies and gentlemen, all 7 of you, this will be for all 7 of you to answer. And the question is, now you've been involved in ISAC, you've known a lot of personalities in ISAC. So who is the one person in ISAC that you look up to as an inspirational leader? Who is the one person in ISAC, might be alumni or global, that you look up to as an inspirational leader? So now we'll go in the reverse order of I introduce the speakers. So I would like to start off with Dulanda. Dulanda, we'd love to hear your answer to this.
So for me, it's definitely has to be Arfan Nasar. So he is currently the national director for ISAC in Bangladesh. So like he's the one that I've been looking up since a member, and then like I will be to continue that so as well.
Well, nice. It's a good start, or a name coming from Bangladesh. That's good to have global inspirations. And next up, Lahiru. Lahiru, who is the one person that you look up to?
So he's Danny Dijanagaya. He's an alumni of. He's from University of Kelaniya. So he's from my school. So
Nice.
So I first
looking up to the seniors from school.
Yeah.
Good. And next we have Vikum. If I move on to you.
Yeah, so my personal inspiration is Pasan Nair, the previous MCPP for OJT. He just does so much stuff together, and he genuinely made me tell myself, okay, damn, if he can do that, I can do that too. So yeah, he inspired me to push my boundaries and try a lot of things in life.
Right, nice, Vikum. Next up, Sandun. Who is your inspirational leader?
Yes, Kavika. So it would be Disnagar Ranasinghe. He was the local committee president of ISAC in Kandy for the term 1920. So he was the president when I became a member of ISAC in Kandy, and he gave a speech on a night actually after a awarding ceremony, and that motivated me to become who I am today inside ISAC. So he is my inspirational character.
Well, nice backstory there as well. So Minol, moving on to Minol. Minol, who's your inspiration?
Yes, so for me, it's Julia Torres. It's the ISAC International Vice President for Organizational Development. So I got the chance, I've been looking at her, without working with her, looking at the work that she has done, but I got the chance to work with her in few things, and that really inspired me, and put that on this board. So she has been doing some great things, so I really wanted to be like her and to be what she's doing.
Wonderful insight there. So Dinushi, who is your inspirational leader in ISAC that you look up to?
Yeah, so for me also it would be Arfan Nasar, who was I was privileged enough to work with him, and working with him was a complete shift in my ISAC journey. And since Dulanda mentioned about Arfan, so I will mention that another teammate that I had, Sachi Vijay Singha, who was another vice president, who was with me last term. She's someone who was the voice for voiceless, who spoke for justice. So she's my inspiration.
Well, that's nice as well. Sandeshi, if I move on to you.
Yes, there are a lot, but if I were to pick one, it's my predecessor, Kanye Dias. So he was the president before me. He was one of the very few people that I know who can bring out the best in people, and he did the same thing for me. So yeah, he's mine.
Well, nice. Well, it's good to know that, or rather, we've always been saying this. ISAC is it's the youth that have come together, that have aspired to inspire others, to add value to the lives of the youth out there as well, and also voluntarily doing things for the betterment of the country, for the nation, and the lives around there. So the few examples I think that came out itself did prove that it is very, we as outsiders feel privileged to work with you guys and to see that effort coming in, and to know that there are leaders, young leaders, youth leaders, aspiring others and inspiring them to inspire the word and spread the word. So that was the icebreaker session, ladies and gentlemen. And all of you ISACers out there, or rather who are interested and following ISAC, you can always comment on your inspirational leader. Might be one of the 7 people that we are in conversation with. You never know, so do feel free to comment and share your thoughts as well. And ladies and gentlemen, let's get into round 2. That is where we're going to have an in-detail discussion with all 7 of them. Previous episodes were just one person, so it was very easy, just to and fro conversations, but here we have got 7 of them. So that is why this episode is special. And just like the first segment itself, or round 1 itself showed you, it's a lot of experiences, hands-on experiences, a lot of memories that are going to be shared in today's conversation. So to start off, we have a common question to all of you. Now, they say, or it is being said, or it is quoted in our discussion to ask that creative leaders are not born. Well, I'm not saying it, but this is something that is being quoted. Creative leaders are not born. And what is your opinion on this statement? And this question goes out to all 7 of you. And this is, I'm going to ask randomly. Sandun, what do you think about this?
Yeah. Kavishka, when it comes to leadership, creativity is a factor that you must have within yourself by the time that you're becoming the leader and after your leadership experience as well. Because creativity is not something it is not something that you can achieve totally. It is something that you will grow day by day. Even when you are having your leadership term, and before that, when you're having the experience to become that particular leader, you are growing your creativity day by day. So in your experience, in your path to become a leader, you will have to face so many ups and downs, right? So more than these ups I mentioned, the downs are the ones which creates you the person you are. Because when you face a certain situation, when you face an issue inside your life, or maybe inside your experience, you will have to work to get out of that issue or that problem. So you can't exactly say that there is this way to get out of this question. If you are to list it down, there will be million ways to get out of million problems. So according to the problem that you're facing at that particular moment, you will have to come up with something creative to get out of that particular issue or the problem. Or when it comes to a problem with your team, maybe with your leaders, you will have to speak up, you will have to be creative. If you're going to do the same thing that everybody is doing, you're not becoming a leader. You're just being a person there is. So I believe that statement is true. Creative leaders are not born, but not even the leaders, creative people are not born. The creativity is growing inside people each and every day with the experience that he or she is facing daily. Yeah, so that's my opinion regarding that.
Nice. Thank you, Sandhan. I think a different idea, perception that came out with a lot of detail as well, and adding to as to why he thinks so. So thank you, Sandhan, for that. Well, I believe the other 6 of them would have their own opinions as well. And well, I have my different opinion as well. So next up, Vikum, what do you think? Creative leaders are not born.
Yeah, so I feel like some people are genuinely just born with talent, and the talent needed to be a creative person and the ability to be a leader. But at the same time, I also feel like both of these things are something that anyone can learn, but they have to put that effort in to make it a part of themselves. Yeah, and something I vividly remember is when we were having our LCVP elections. So there was this applicant who said that almost everyone is born with some amount of leadership inside them. And what this person said is that ISAC is a place that amplifies this leadership that they innately have and creates the strong leader out of that person. And I feel like that's a statement I wholeheartedly agree with. So I feel like it goes both ways, that some people are genuinely born as creatives and as leaders, but at the same time, it's something that anyone can learn. Yeah.
Well, that was the opinion of Vikum. Well, nice to have that as well. A different opinion coming with a different explanation. So, just like I said, each and everyone would have their different perceptions, and this is exactly why we are having a conversation with 7 of them who had hands-on experience in ISAC as well, and who've been very creative in their tenures and their terms of leadership, following leaders as well. So, next up, we move to Dulanda. Dulanda, what do you think? Creative leaders are not born, they say.
Yes, to be honest, like I also agree with what Sonamya and Nikum shared. So for me, creativity is the ability to get things done. So so I don't think it's a level, as Sonam said, it's not a level of certification. No, it's not a level of status. It's just a journey that every one of us are going through. And then when it's come to leadership, it's also same with that as well. And then that's why I think in ISAC we believe that leadership can be developed in anyone. So with that along, I personally believe that creativity. I also agree with Vikum. Like some people have that talent when they are born with, but creativity and leadership, the both of them can be developed in anyone in anywhere. That's what I believe.
Nice. Thank you, Dulanda, for that perception of your own as well. And next up, Dinushi, what do you think of this statement?
Yes, so I also agree for all of the opinions that Nulan, Vikum and Sanjay gave. So yes, as ISACers, we believe that leadership can be developed in anyone and anywhere, no matter who you are or where you are. And about creativity, if you are a leader, just like Sanjay also mentioned, creativity is part of leadership. So it can be different, like the things that we face each other, like so all 7 of us have different sort of personalities to handle. So my creativity from maybe Vikum's creativity would be totally different. And what he has to go through and what I have to go through is totally different. So depending on that, we have our own creativity. And yes, and I believe that creativity can be a portion, or it can be there with us. Like it can come genetically as well, but then again, with the situations that you face, you can develop, anyone can develop creativity within themselves.
Well, thank you, Dinushi, for that. Well, agreements with others and the personal opinion coming up as well. Well, let's listen to Minol. Minol, let us see what you have to say on this statement.
Yes. So creative leaders are not born. So that's quite a great statement, I guess. So like, I think creative leaders are not born, but they're raised and they're produced. So like leadership like develops with the opportunities that we take, the challenges that we face. So it's like a whole roller coaster ride that we go in and developing our leadership. So I also actually agree with with what everyone said. So like there are people born with leadership qualities, leadership talents and everything. But I personally think that it has to be nurtured and it has to be raised with what we do afterwards. So like the opportunities that we take, the things that we learn from them are like the things that we develop in our leadership, like working in a diverse environment, like with different personalities, that molds the leadership within us. Like that will be the aspects that we'll be working into. So like that will be molding us as great leaders, anybody as great leaders. So I would like say like creative leaders are not born, but they're raised and they're produced. So like there can be people coming with the leadership instincts and everything, but we need to we need to create opportunities for them to nurture that, so they can be better leaders. So like as in ISAC, we say like we develop leadership in anyone in anywhere. So like that is my stand on that, I guess.
Well, thank you, Vinod, for that. And let's see what Lahiru has to say on this statement. Lahiru, creative leaders are not born, they say. What do you have to say on this?
Sure. What I believe is like there are some set of leaders, so they make children. So in their DNAs, there can be the genes of to become the leaders. But as all of our presidents said, leadership can be practiced, and the creativity comes from we are coming from different areas, different things we go through every day. So these things add colors to our day-to-day things. What are the outputs we give is a reflection of what we have come, the journey we have come through. So those things will be the creative aspects that we inject to outside people. So the leadership is kind of a thing that we get the best out of the people. So the things we all the 7 of us are doing things in a different way. So that's this kind of a creativity what I see.
Well, thank you, Lahiru, for that. And Sandeshi, we move on to you for the final opinion on this question. Creative leaders are not born. And what is your opinion on that?
Yes, so when I was thinking about this, one question that I had was, I think Sandhanu also mentioned this, it's a continuous process. So where do you really draw the line that you're now a creative leader? So that's a question. I don't think anyone can answer that. And therefore, I don't think anyone is born with it. But I guess, like everyone said, certain people are born with certain characteristics that could, turn into leadership one day. But that being said, I think just like Lahiru also said, sometimes it's genetics, and there are researches about this as well, about how genes can affect certain personalities. But like everyone said, nobody would be perfectly, like a fully fledged creative leader by birth. You would have to have certain opportunities, certain circumstances, and depending on your learning pace and depending on the kind of circumstances that you go through, that will take some time into molding you as a creative leader. But I guess it's very possible to everyone, and that's what we believe in ISAC as well.
Well, thank you, Sandeshi. I think she made my job easier of wrapping up all 6 opinions and giving her own as well. Well, that was my duty as the host, but then Sandeshi did it for me. Thank you, Sandeshi, for that as well. But I do believe that, well, we all are gifted. The 5 fingers are not the same. We're different to one another, and each of us have a different capability that has been bestowed upon us, that we are blessed with. And it's about that journey that we go through in life that helps us mold ourselves, nurture ourselves, groom ourselves to the better version we become. And well, some of us might want to become creative, well, while some of us might not want to become creative, but pursue another stream of area or another area that we might be interested in, passionate. Maybe we are a little introvert, we want to be behind and sit back and do the things at the back end, but that too involves creativity per se, because I think this whole 5 episodes that we spoke previously and in the initial episode as well, where we hosts expressed our perceptions on creativity, we did mention the fact that every tiny thing that we do in life, day in, day out, is or includes a little bit of creativity, because you and I are different. You and I are a specific, unique DNA. It is different in the way we do things, from the handwriting, from the way we speak to the way we talk, and all of that is different and makes us different and draws a difference and brings our own personal touch with creativity to the table. So that was the first question that was thrown out to all 7 of them, and we've got one more question for all 7 of you to answer. So now we know the last close to 2 years, or rather 1.5, close to 2 years, I'll go with close to 2 years. We were in bio bubbles, in lockdowns. We moved very much away from human physical interaction. It has been digitized worlds, virtual connections, virtual meetups, virtual meetings, this, that, and the other. And me personally miss that physical touch and the physical vibe we share when we get together as a group. So now, as presidents that lead teams, work with teams of different institutions and individuals from different backgrounds. Now, this term has been a virtual one, to be very precise. And it is very difficult when it is virtually done to have people involved and get people participating in things, because I've experienced that as well, as a trainer, as a compio, as a moderator, and this, that, and the other. And as a person who's attending meetings as well, sometimes if it was a physical, we would be very more hands-on and interactive with the person who's doing it. But when it's virtual, we tend to take a step back and relax and be all comfy at home and all that. So how has it been, or what are the creative strategies that you employ to ensure the member engagement and active participation in this term, which has been a virtual one? So let's start off with Dhulandhar.
So yeah, for me personally, I think the best way to engage or motivate someone to do a particular task is to give that person the reason why that person should do it. So like as you said, like not only in ISAC, like the whole world went through a lot of change with this pandemic. And then when it comes to ISAC, like we started this whole new discussion about what we can do to make sure that we are engaging and we are developing our membership. And then as a result of that, like we came up with like a very new program. And then in that we found out like personal development is one thing that most of our membership is expecting from working with ISAC. So with that, like what we wanted to drive in ISAC and SWIT was a culture where we develop ourselves, and then where we get the chance to reflect back on how we are developing even when we are working with ISAC. So to facilitate that, like in every touch point that I got with our membership, it may be an official expansion meeting, it may be even a meeting for just for us to have a fun. Like I wanted to facilitate session where they reflect back on their journeys that they are having in ISAC, and then where they get to realize the development that they are having. And like to be honest, like in ISAC, like in everything that we do, like it may be just a exit participant we raise, it may be just a company meeting that we attend, it may be even a call that we ring. Like through every of these little things, like no matter what, we are developing ourselves, we are becoming better leaders day by day. And that's what all of people who are working with ISAC is signed up for. So for us in ISAC Institute, what we did was like we wanted to make sure that they are developing themselves, and then we help them to realize that we help them to realize on their own that how much they have been developing, even though it's in a virtual setting.
Nice. Thank you, Dhulanda, for that insight of how you've got the creative strategies going in your end. And I believe the remaining or the rest of them can also relate to that, and also have your own personal ways that you've included, or the things that you've developed, the creative strategies that you've come up with to get the interaction and involvement going in. So Sadhul, what is your opinion on this?
Yeah, so Kavishka, when I started my term, like this is a major problem that I had, because I was already engaged in one virtual term, and I have seen like a drastic like decreasing of the member engagement, like from the physical into virtual. There was a huge shift. So the thing I did was like I like had a meeting with my executive body, and what we discussed was like, yeah, this is a virtual environment. This is different from what is happening in the physical context. So as an executive body, even though we are executive body, we are ISACers. So why are we doing this? Like as an executive body, why are we doing this? What is the reason for us to do that? So we finally like discovered that we, just like Dhulanda mentioned, like every one of us had a reason and a passion. So all the strategies that we have taken under the member engagement was like based on this why of ISAC. Why are you doing? What is the relevance of ISAC in this current context? So in the beginning of the previous term, like back in 2020, the pandemic, the situation became, because of the pandemic, is called the new normal. But we had to convince and tell the membership that this is not new normal anymore. This is the normal. This is what you have to deal with in the current context. So you will have to convert into it, because like just like Darwin said, not Darwin, just like Darwin said, or the strategy which has always worked was the survival of the fittest. So if you are not to survive in this virtual context, you won't be like able to face your future. You will have to like adapt into any context in a very fast pace. So that was the strategies, like all the strategies that we have taken was like based on that why. So yeah, that was the things that we have done.
Thank you, Sanam. Thank you, Sanam, for that insight. Dinoshi, what have you come up with in this tenure or this term to get your team engaged and involved and participating in all things that you have been doing over the year?
Yeah. So just like others also mentioned, now this is like the second term that we are going virtually. And so as someone also mentioned, there was a drastic drop because ISAC culture is in a physical setting. So it was quite very difficult for us to give that virtually. So like as ISAC Sri Lanka, they came up with different strategies also to like give them the member engage, as in for them to develop themselves, to create a why for them to stay and to create that. We dance a lot, so we miss that out a lot when it comes to this virtual setting. And when we look at like in this term, when we look at how people have been like working with this virtual context than the previous term, just after this COVID came, like not every university, not every institute started doing online lectures. So, but when it comes to this term, we see that they are packed with lectures, and they even have lectures at morning, night. So it was quite hard local committee meeting. So once we did midtime where it was quite interesting, because we have understood that now youngsters, they they don't sleep early, they just stay awake until the very morning, and they sleep in the morning and they wake up around 11 or 12. So we thought, like, why not trying that? We just had a fun local committee meeting at 12 o'clock. So we had the most number of people participating for that meeting. So just like that, like small stuff, you just have to be creative to find to get people on board. So that is how we make sure that we engage our members.
Yes, Dinavashi, nice on that. Yes, I remember seeing, because I've been involved with these ISAC events, moderating these ISAC events, I think for the past 1.5 years as well, or more. And I've seen statuses, stories on this midnight meeting you just mentioned. I've seen those things as well. So I believe a lot of creative strategies have been used. We saw Scooby-Doo themes, this, that, and the other, a lot of things that have come into play by different institutions or different committees or different teams rather. So let's listen to the others' creative strategies that the other members or the presidents had brought up as well. Minol, what do you think, or what was your plan over the year?
Yes, so starting off this term, it was like we started off virtually this term. So it was quite, as Sadun mentioned, like the engagement rates were dropping. So that's what we were seeing. Everyone was seeing that. So they were like not adapting to the virtual environment, but like they were getting fed up of the virtual environment. So like as ISACers, like we always find the solutions to the challenges that we face. So like we had the challenge of getting the members engaged and getting them actively participating in the sessions that we have and everything. So as what we did was, like, as creative leaders, what we did was, like, we identified the most important points that our membership was looking for. Like they were looking for like some new things to try out, some new experiences to gain, some things to get to their professional lives, maybe to develop their professional skills, and also like the aspects on ISAC. So as what we did was, like, we didn't stick to one platform or another. We tried out new platforms. We tried virtual office environments that differ from one to another. So like they would be interested to at least see the space that we are in, try out the new activities that we have, and those aspects. So that was one of like the main things that we did. Like we got out of the normal routine, and we had different like new aspects coming in and like new activities coming in. So, and like the next major thing that we had was, like, we addressed like what they wanted. So like many members like wanted to develop their professional lives and like to develop professional skills so that they could be better in performing in their universities, maybe something that they are doing on their own. So like we address that situation so that they can get that out of ISAC. So that made them interested on what we are delivering to them. So that increased the active participation that we had on sessions, that like branding yourself, personal branding, making a proper CV, maybe maintaining your LinkedIn profile. So like those things are not like the usual things, but they attract a lot more people, and they attract a lot more members because they gain something out of it. So that was another thing that we brought out. And finally, I would say, like, out of the many things, one major thing was like the rewards and recognitions for members. So like they had been putting in a lot of effort out of their time, working virtually, engaging with everyone virtually, trying to get the best out for our entities and ISAC Sri Lanka. So like what we as ISACers, so like we like the reward and recognition that we have had physically in the past terms, we moved it to a virtual platform. We recognize the members and we appreciated them for what they have done. So like that motivates them to like perform more and better. So like that's what we have been doing as creative leaders, to like get the members engaged, to have them working with us and to have them develop themselves also. So that's what we have been doing. So I guess I answered most of it with the few things that we have done. Thank you.
Well, yes, well, you did. And that was Minol and his team, how they put up their strategies of bring together their members. And let's see what Lahiru has to say on this. Lahiru, how were things on your end?
So the people, all of the people have different tastes. There are some people who like vanilla ice creams and some people who like chocolate ice cream. So we cannot have others to taste the same thing. So what we tried as the Executive Board of Isaac Kirona and the Leadership Board, we have a lot of different kind of events. So we address the different tastes of the people. And there are, as undergraduates, there are really common needs that we need to fulfill. So that's why a lot of the people look up to Isaac. So that also we covered during our term. So that's a wrap of what we did to increase the creativity.
Nice, Lahiru. Thank you. A quick wrap that was. Sandeshi, what is in from your end?
Yes, so just like everyone said, this was the second term that we did virtually. So when we identified, when we understood basically that we were going in for another virtual term, what we understood was that the first thing that you're going to lose is the connection, right? Because you're not really, when you don't have that physical touch, you lose that connection with the people. So the first thing that we did, one of the main things, was to create an open environment. And we wanted people to, basically the membership, we wanted them to feel closer to the executive board and all of the levels to feel closer together. And we wanted them to take ownership and do what they want in that environment. So we had a lot of good ideas coming in from them. And I think that was the best thing that we did. And we made sure that those ideas were welcomed. And I really believe that, in a closed environment or in an environment where you feel a lot of friction, you don't really get to experience a lot of creativity. So we had a lot of new things coming up from the members. We had new programs, new events, and they did quite well with them. And when they take that ownership, they tend to be engaged automatically. So that was one thing that we got. And we even, gave it a try, gave some new things a try. For example, the executive board was extremely open-minded when they, brought up this whole TikTok trend, because that's like a platform that everybody uses these days. But there's a lot of judgment that comes along with it. But when the members brought it up and they said, okay, we should go for a, like a TikTok trend, the EB was very, very open-minded. And we thought, what, let's give it a shot. And it actually works now. So people actually, whenever they meet physically, they put, certain videos, they make like content using the platform and they post it up. And that shows the enthusiasm that they have. Other than that, we try to be the good seniors that they wanted, because some of those juniors that actually joined or be recruited during our term hadn't even gone to the university, like not even once. So we try to be the close seniors for them, and we had a like a good bond. And I think that sort of automatically heated things up and sort of kept that engagement going throughout the entire term. And yeah, that was what we did.
Well, that is nice, Sandesh. Thank you for that. And Vikum, what was it from your end that kept the term going?
Yeah, so for us, I think that one of the things that impacted a lot was our conference, JXL Days 9.0, which we barely managed to hold physically. It was quite a difficult task, but that inspired this whole new generation who basically, just like Sandesh said, most of them haven't even been to the university, and having that physical experience, I think it inspired a lot of them. And from that, I think mostly we kind of managed to ride that momentum, yeah. And virtually, what we focused on was we focused a lot on our membership. So we want to develop them a lot, and what we want to do is it's kind of like what Dulanda said. So we realized that to get them to actually be engaged, we need to make them realize that they need to develop themselves. So we created a lot of opportunities with OCs and with our other programs and such. And at the same time, we created our own membership development program. We call it the Gen 212, and it was mostly focused on career and personal development. So all of these things together, it made our membership really want to develop themselves and push forward. And I think that's where that's where we kind of got them to be engaged and actively participate on everything we do. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Vikram, for that, ladies and gentlemen. I think that was 7 leaders speaking to us and sharing their insights on what they did to bring the engagement, the connection, and get people motivated in this very difficult times. And a few things that they mentioned was very important, realizing or making the members realize why, the purpose behind it. I think that's important not only here, but also in our lives as well. Why, the purpose of our lives, why we do something, making us realize or realizing the purpose is very, very important for us to stay focused, stay engaged, to commit to it and put in our heart and soul and do things that we want to do. And also things like getting the ideas of the members and giving them that ownership of doing things is very important as well. People feel when delegated and given that authority, people feel obliged or they feel respected, they feel recognized, and they feel important and motivated to do something, because when you have the responsibility, you want to prove yourself, you want to do something good with it. And that is exactly when people take that step and come forward and giving their heart and soul. And also those are the very situations in life that we tend to realize, oh, well, I can do this thing as well, right? We come to that point in life where it might be life changing as well. Sometimes where you realize, oh, well, you've got a new talent that you never thought you had. You've got a new way of thinking in life that you never thought you could build. So these are very, very important things. And I provide proof for ISAC being very creative and hands-on and getting everyone engaged, because like I said, we've been involved with them over the last 1.5 to 2 years or more. And over the years, they've had one after the other, and different bodies coming together. It has been that power of synergy as well. When different teams come together, we've had different things from career casts to unlock to this, that, and the other, bringing down different personalities, sharing experiences, grooming individuals, bringing that fun, bringing the professional aspect of it, and adding value to lives no matter what they did. So I stand as evidence, or rather I confirm the fact that these 7 individuals and their teams and each and every stakeholder involved have been participating and committing heart and soul in this normal, not the new normal, it is the normal now, in these normal conditions of digitization and virtual connection, bio bubbles and human distancing, sadly though, but they've been involved and going forward. So now it's questions to each and one of you specifically to get your insights as well. And let's get into chat. Sandeshi, first question or rather, let me turn to you first. So Sandeshi, what are the creative elements now? This, like you said, it's been the second virtual term, and this has been your term that you've led the team. And what are the creative elements that you see as essential in attraction campaigns that are launched in your entity?
Yes. So when it comes to creative elements, I'll go with like the basic 3 that we have in all of our attraction campaigns. The first thing is originality. So when we do an attraction campaign, we always try to make sure that this has not been done before, or this has a touch to it that no other attraction campaigns has had before. And that's not the ego taking charge here. That's to make sure that we are thinking out of the box, and we are trying to do better than what we have done in the past, or maybe what others have done. So when it comes to attraction campaigns, we actually, for example, we did one for the Outgoing Global Volunteer product. And this was mainly cartoons. The entire attraction campaign was full of cartoons, and every post had a story to tell. So it was like a conversation in cartoon for every post. So this actually, when this was put out there, I actually faced a lot of skepticism from people, and people reached out to me and said, this, we have never done this before. Are you sure about this? But I told my vice president, I said, if you want to, if you believe in this, go ahead and give it a shot. I don't mind. And it actually worked. So I really, that's one of the things that I really believe in. Originality is the main thing. And secondly, I should say, is trial and error. So when it comes to an attraction campaign too, yes, you do a market research, you look at the audience that you're trying to capture, and you create that campaign accordingly. But there are times when the campaign works and there are times when it doesn't. So one thing that I always tell the membership is that you need to know why you're doing this and what's the ultimate objective of why you're doing this. So once they have put it out, that anything doesn't have to be a campaign, but once they have executed something, they have to look back at it and see, okay, is this objective really fulfilled? Did we achieve what we wanted to achieve? And especially in numbers, you have to put it in numbers. If you want to achieve a certain number of signups, you have to have that number there and then see whether that was achieved or not. And that sometimes works, sometimes it doesn't, but it takes a lot of observation to make sure that you have the right information. So trial and error is everything. If something doesn't go right, then you learn from it and you do something that's completely different. That was the second one. And the third one is collaboration. So collaboration is basically, this doesn't mean that several members get into, let's say, in the same level, they get into a group or a team and they do something. That's not what I mean. That collaboration basically means like throughout all the levels. Let's say in the marketing team, they come up with an attraction campaign, and that will be reviewed by their own team leader, which will be again reviewed by the marketing vice president, and then the entire executive board. So likewise, everyone puts in their 2 cents. Everyone just gives in their opinion and contribute. And in the end, it becomes a really good finished product. So that's what we need by the end. And one thing that I always tell my executive board as well, which I think is downscaled hopefully, is that if I say, okay, I'm the president, so I know what I'm doing, you need to do according to what I say, it's only gonna be good as my brain, right? So but everyone else, I have 14 people in the executive board. If all of us contribute and we collaborate, then it's going to be as good as all 14 of us. So likewise, those are the 3 that I can tell you.
Well, thank you, Sandesh. I think that was a nice insight. I think that adds value not only to the either ISACers, but also to individuals who are listening to this, the youth, the young generation, and even people who are involved. I believe in business because once you do something, it's very important to turn back and look at it, analyze it, review it, evaluate it, learn from it. Right? All of that is important, and statistics is very, very vital when it comes to doing certain things such as marketing as well, because you need to know, did it hit the right spot, or do we need to tweak a little things here and there, and how do we get it across better the next time? How do we speak to the minds or rather the hearts of the people and make them stop for a moment and get them thinking, so they have that thing synced in and live with them through the rest of their lives. So, and being original and being creative is the topic of the whole season. So it is given by default that you have to be original and creative when you do certain things. And that's why these leaders are here in conversation with us today. So thank you, Sandesh, for that insight. And I move on to Dinoshi. Dinoshi, if I were to ask you, what is the emphasis you place on creativity in your entity?
Yes. So as we discussed before, also like as leaders, creativity is part of your part of leadership. So without being creatively relevant. So I can remember back then also when all COVID hits us, so we were discussing how as ISACers we can be relevant right now. So being creative, being innovative is something that myself and my entire team was discussing how we are going to how we as a team stand to transform with purpose, and how we're going to do is through innovations. So in this term, so we came up with a lot of innovations through giving the platform for our members to create, for them to be creative. So just like a lot of people told here, we also gave the opportunity for our members to come up with their own creative ideas. So for an example, we did that through fashion. So that was an event that that one of our members actually came up with, and we allowed that person to develop that whole concept into a big event, and like just like I think Sandesh also executive board, we also gave our inputs and we developed. The event was created to make a trend for people to like wear a mask properly, to make the mask to make COVID wear a fashionable thing. So people are very creative. At first, president came up to me and told me about this concept. I was also confused. How are we going to create an impact? But when listening to what the members have to say, when listening to what they have actually, how things are like functioning in their brains, it was so amazing to see that. And if you don't allow people to be creative, it's like they're like you're gonna just shut down all those amazing ideas. And also another amazing event that we had is we actually had a virtual Children's Day, and back if somebody told like we're gonna have a virtual Children's Day, like people would laugh. How are we going to have a Children's Day? Amazing. We had more than 500 participants in that Children's Day program, and it was mainly focused on slum community, where even I was shocked to see that those people have logged in, and entire families, even parents were there. They're enjoying. So it was so nice. And none of those were like the members of our entity who came up with all those ideas. So we gave the ownership to be creative, and they were creative. So I think it's not just this term. Even in future, everything's changing very rapidly, and we definitely have to emphasize on creativity, allow them to be creative. Yes.
So thank you, Dinoshi, for that. I think another few more very, very important points coming out. Whatever you do, it needs to be relevant and needs to make an impact. Very important, because doing something just for the sake of it is not going to get you anywhere. And the time, the energy, the heart and soul that you put into it is going to be in vain. So you need to ensure that whatever you do, be creative, but it needs to be relevant to what you're going to do. And it is going to make an impact in society, in the people, in your audience, and who's at the receiving end. And like she said, you gave the opportunity, or you were open to ideas from your team. That is very beautiful, because a leader needs to be humble and give that opportunity. You need to delegate, let people speak up, have that open door policy for people to come and share their ideas, because like Sandeshi and Dinoshi and each and every one of you said, that ideas from different people can develop ideas or concepts to a greater perception or add value to it and bring more to the table for that to be the best of its version. So that's very important, giving that white A4 sheet or white piece of paper to everyone and saying, this is yours, go do whatever you can do. Right? So important and relevant points. Thank you, Dinoshi, for that. And with that, I move on to Minol. Minol, how does creativity make a leader more effective? Well, that's the question. And who, in your opinion, is a world leader who have been very successful in this area? Now, the question breaks into two, if I may repeat, Minol. What or who? How does creativity make a leader more effective? And who, in your opinion, is a world leader who has been very successful in this area?
Yes, Kavishka. So talking about creative leaders, so like they have always been putting in a great effort to making things more effective and like bringing the best out of anything that they have. So in my opinion, like when I see like creative leaders, like they bring out like groundbreaking thoughts, like for anything that they do. And like also usually creative leaders have a long-term vision to what they do. And like that vision drives them for their targets. So that's usually like the basic of how a creative leader is made. So talking further about creative leaders and why they are effective. So like they are also bringing out like a lot of original ideas in my perspective. So like creative leaders try to be like quite original. So like, I guess the originality was mentioned by Sandesh also. So it's like quite a great thing that creative leaders do. Like they try to bring out the originality. So like it brings out the best out of them. So that's one thing that I see. So also working with creative leaders, like it's not only the leaders that benefit from them, I guess. So working with creative leaders allows the space to learn, like to grow, like while bringing in new ideas. Like all the peers, all the colleagues working with them get the chance to learn and grow from them. So that might be reasons as to why that leadership style is more effective. So that might be the aspects that's putting, like adding on, like the small bits and pieces that add on to being more effective leadership style. Also, like adding a few more things, I guess. So like personally, I think like relating to my, like resonating to my personality also, like creative leaders like to take up new challenges, tackles challenges easily. Like they think out of the box, they adapt to change, and like they are like the best people who can face uncertainty. So like they'll make like the most uncertain events, like the most uncertain moments in your life, or like whatever you face, like into like an unpredicted success. So like that's one of the things that I see in creative leaders. And like personally, I like to become a creative leader, and I think I'm going in that way. So I like to take up new challenges, think out of the box. So this is what I actually see. And most importantly, like the most like effective thing that creative leaders do, I guess, is not stop learning. So they are passionate of what they do. They like for the adapts to anything that they do. So these things, I guess, has been like the main things that has been creating like a more effective leadership style through like the creative leaders. And also answering the second part of the question, I think I don't need in my opinion, like a great creative leader is Elon Musk. So like with that name, I don't need to mention anything else, because everybody of us knows like what Elon Musk has done, what he has put out to the society, and like what his vision is. So like that's my opinion on like why creative leaders are more effective, and like I actually like look up to Elon Musk on that leadership style.
Well, thank you, Vinod, for that. I think another perception, opinion that brought out a lot of messages as well, and very importantly, saying creative leaders do creativity does make a leader much more effective, because I think a very important characteristic of a leader is to be adaptive. You need to adapt to situations, because if not for the current situation we faced, you and I faced in the world, companies would have collapsed. We saw many companies collapse. We saw people, employees being asked to leave, cut down in employees, cut down in salaries, did this, that, and the other. But amidst all of this, there were enough and more companies that grew, that made profits, that changed their ways of doing things, that found opportunities amidst this calamity. And that is because they were creative enough to adapt with the situation, look for new options, opinions, and change, be creative, and go out there and conquer the world. And Elon Musk, like you said, by I think there's no doubt about that leadership and the creativity of that person, because he is working way many steps ahead, and he's imagining and being creative, innovative for the rest of the world himself. So, well, thank you for that. Thank you for sharing your insight on that. And ladies and gentlemen, I move on to Southern. Southern leadership styles differ from leader to leader. Who, according to you, is a creative leader?
Right, Kavishka. So to start my answer, I'd like to mention something that has been passed on to me by my predecessor, Kawinda Chaturanga, the term 2021 president of Isaac and Candy. So in the beginning of my term, he told me that if I want to do something, first I have to think that that is possible, that you can do it. No matter what is the scale of the thing that I want to do or anything, you can do it. First, you have to believe in it. Then you will have to find a way. So being a simple person, I wondered like how it is possible, because I have a set of skills. So if I'm to do something, I have to like be limited into that set of skills. So how am I like how it is possible to do anything that I want? But later, when I look into the latter part of my term, I think I unveiled the secret behind that. So when people are choosing a leader, most of the time, they think that leader should be equipped with like all the talents there are. Like he should be good in speaking, he should be good in this and that, he should be good in everything. But actually that is not true. If you are a leader, when you're becoming a leader, another thing is given to you. That is a team, right? When you're becoming a leader, you are given a team. So if you know, if you want to do something and it requires a particular skill, if you know like how to get that particular skill out of your team, and if you know how to, like, just like everybody mentioned, making the best out, taking the best out of something, all right, someone. So if you know how to manage that, if you know how to utilize that, if you know how to optimize that, the simple resources that you have, then I believe you are a creative leader. Because Kavishka, creativity itself is leadership. Because if you are to become a leader, you have to be original, all right? So if you are being original, that itself is creativity. You have to come up with something new, right? So I believe if some person is, if some leader is good in management, if some leader is good in optimizing the limited resources that he or she have, and has a good overall understanding about his or her environment and the team, I believe that person is a creative leader. So that is my answer, very simple answer to that question. The definition
Short
of
and
a
sweet.
creative
Sanun, but thank leader. Short and sweet. Thank you, Sanun. But I think a lot of things were included in that short and sweet answer as well. Because, likely said, it is important to understand that it is not just you as a leader, it is a whole team that you need to drive and drive accordingly. I think if you look at leaders like Jack Ma, Jack Ma says, Jack Ma is not the most qualified person on earth, right? But he's one of the top billionaires out there. And he says, well, all I didn't know how to do things, right? All I knew was to find the right people who could do the right thing and get that, make an environment for that people to drive an organization towards the right direction. And that was his leadership. Well, creative enough to get him to the billionaires club. And he's done that. So it's not only about the skills that you have to do something, but it's about utilizing the skills of others, aspiring and inspiring the people around you, with you, to go on that journey to do everything and ensure that everything is possible, rather, like Sanun did mention. So, Sanun, thank you for that. And with that, we move on to Vikram. Vikram, so the question to you is, what is the most challenging time you have encountered in your term as president? And well, what were your solutions to overcome this as well? What were the challenges, and what was, or how did you overcome this?
Yeah, so I'm gonna say that the entire term was quite challenging. Um, honestly, because like none of us had a definitive blueprint of what to do, right? Like this is a very unprecedented situation. We've only been involved with this situation for at maximum like a year, so no one knows and no one knows how to deal with the situation. And especially for an organization like ISEC, we are an organization that tries to we focus on exchanges, and how are we supposed to do all of this with the situation going on? And my solution was basically, I told my EB, go and innovate. That's it. If you feel there's something that doesn't make sense in this scenario, just try and change it. See what happens. Figure out what we can do to improve, what we can do better. So it was this process of continuous improvement and optimization, just like Sadhun said, that helped us a lot. And basically, if there's a new idea, I just told them, you know what, let's do it. Let's try and see what happens, because you never know until you do it, right? So one of these things that I remember is, my marketing CVP, he asked and told me, Aya, I want to get some camera equipment to the LC. My idea is to, like he said, Aya, I want to make an event that focuses on the backstage people who are doing this marketing and all this content creation. I was like, you know what, let's try it out and see. It was quite difficult because it's a very niche occupation, right? Audio engineers, people who do makeup artists, and other people like VFX artists, very niche audience, but it just worked out. So basically things like that. We just continuously innovated and innovated. It didn't work out all the time, but the times it worked out well. And I think that was a great solution that we had, and that's something we are still doing. Everything, if we see that it's not working out properly, I just say, okay, you know what, let's try something new. Let's see what happens. So yeah, so that was my solution, and it just up to now it has worked out pretty well. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Vikram, for that. So I think something that was spoken of before coming into play as well, the concept of trial and error, doing it, go out, do it, and make an error. That's fine. You learn from it. And like Vikram said, well, this is very new. Then the environment is very new that you don't know what to do sometimes. It is like studying a whole new syllabus. You've got many seniors, but they've studied a different syllabus, and here you are. Well, will come on board, get straight into the deep waters, find your way. But then what's beautiful is that has developed so many individuals and made you all put you in that hot seat to think out of the box and look at different avenues, different ideas, different perceptions, and all of that. So that is very, very important. And that is why I think everything has evolved and you come up with new ideas, better ideas, and got the team going accordingly. So thank you, Vikram, for sharing that as well. And I think all seven leaders here, all seven presidents here should be having their own stories as well, because each and every one of them, yes, they've gone through the same thing, because this was totally new. It was trial and error, finding their way out in the deep sea. So now I turn to Lahiru. Lahiru, if I'm to ask, ISAC is a place full of opportunities. Well, I second it. What are strategies and methods you can use to develop your members' creativity through these opportunities?
Yes, guys. So the most favorite example for that full of opportunities, like ISAC is a kitchen. So we need to make our own dish. So we have the ingredients, we have all the necessary equipments, but we have to work on ourselves and we have to come up with the very own kind of dish. So I was like had the privilege to the most important, like most wonderful thing is like the previous leaders, the previous persons who were in the ISAC in the leadership board, in the leadership higher positions, they shared their dishes with me. So I had the opportunity to taste those things. But when I was starting my journey as the president, so what I saw is our members and our university people have not seen the opportunities. Like they have that kind of a gap between the opportunities and the things they have been doing. So in the beginning, what I did was I let them, I showed them that these are the things as ISACers we can do. So and my other fellow presidents and their LCs were doing a lot of wonderful, marvelous things. So I just asked my membership and for the executive board to look for those things. So so in the initial phase, like we didn't come up with so we had the research and development process. So after some time, like as I previously mentioned, like people are coming from different backgrounds, so they have their own different backstories. So what they came up with was like they came up with different concepts. Like they are like really addressing the different context. Like, they are addressing the different taste of the people. So what I did was I set up a vision. So our vision was to achieve so we were official expansion for quite some time. So I set up our expectations and the bar in a higher position, like to become a local committee. So with the help of those concepts, and when I show our members that they can contribute to our dream in small ways, and the concept they came up with was really wonderful. So I gave them the opportunity. I gave them the ownership of their ideas, the concept. So they really started working on their concept. So that really helped me too. So because I don't have to put extra energy, because they were effortlessly working on their dream. Because it is not kind of a hard thing where I had not to spoon feed, or I had not to get I had to really not work hard on their achievements. So I just had to guide them through these different scenarios and the data structures I had been made. because we don't have to waste our energy. We have set our goal, and what I had to do was to get the best out of it. So that really worked well, and I think that inspired other people also. So they also continuously came up with their different ideas. So it was kind of I had the so I eventually did the reward and recognition to the people who coming up with those ideas. So that really helped to grab those opportunities, and they also rediscovered themselves. So because in the previous terms and in the beginning, they didn't knew that they had the capability to achieve those things. So now we have done quite some things, and we'll be trying to keep on evolving on the basics and the stuff we do.
Well, thank you, Lahiri, for that. I think, well, the way he started off itself spoke about the creativity of Isaac, because comparing this to a kitchen, right? Making your own dish, right? And that is what it is. It's about bringing flavors and making your own cuisine, right? So that is about also giving opportunities. I think Vikum also mentioned that it is very important to be brave, bold out, and go there and do it, right? Because life keeps throwing opportunities at you, right? It is said, right? When one door closes, another door opens. When one bus goes, another comes. But well, in my perception, there is a point of time in life, right? There is a point of time in life that there'll be no more buses, there'll be no more doors opening. So the moment that a door opens, a bus comes, you need to grab that opportunity. And you need to remember that you don't lose out of it. You only learn out of it. You either win or you learn. And even if you win, you still learn. You've grown as an individual by getting or grabbing that opportunity and doing it, because you have groomed yourself or nurtured yourself with a whole lot of experience while going through that phase, right? So thank you, Lahira, for that insight from you. And well, we move on to Dulanda. Dulanda, what does creativity mean to you? And how have you used this definition in your day-to-day life and in your term as president?
Yes, Kaushik. So when it comes to the definition of creativity, I personally feel like there's a confusion when it comes to that. Like there are some set of people who's thinking that like having a set of artistic skills make them creative. So for me personally, what I believe creativity is the ability to get things done in simpler words. Like let's say like we were talking about the marketing campaigns that we drive. So let's say that we guys put up the most beautiful or the most elegant poster that we have at addressing a specific market, but if that post didn't turn out the expected engagement, then I don't think that's a creative deed. So and then also when it comes to life, like especially when it comes to creativity, there's a very important thing. Like we have to make sure that we are removing our biasnesses in the things that we are doing. If we are working with our own biasnesses, like I don't think we can be creative, and then we will be just like we will be thinking like we are creative, but we will be just following the things that we were doing in like the whole history. And when the question was about the latter part of the question was about like how being creative is helping in our day-to-day life. Like as the example I gave in, like when it comes to like a professional setup, like it's very easy to measure whether we are creative by the outcome. Like there are different matrices to see whether like those is a success or not. But when it comes to day-to-day life, like it's very low. Like to be honest, like it's almost like we can't see whether it was a success or not. So what we do is like and then one thing that I believe like especially when I was going through this experience, something that I realized was like it may be in Isaac, it may be in our lives, like it's all about the decision that we make. And then when it get hard when it comes to our like day-to-day life, because like as I said, there are no way to define whether it was a success or it was a good decision or bad decision. We just label it and then like if we label something as a bad decision, then like we keep like thinking about it and like keep worrying about that. So personally what I think is being creative means not only the ability to take decision, but also something very important is to understand the context that we are living in, and then also understand and also understand like what is the scope that we can change, and then what is the scope that we cannot handle. So I think personally that would help us in our lives, not only to worry about the things happen, but also to see, let's say like we made a bad decision, but that's okay. Then if we are creative enough, then we can make sure that we find the correct path to turn that bad decision into a good one. And then also one thing that's like when it comes to creativity, there's something that we have to keep in mind, like it's the end goal. Like if we don't have any goal, if we don't have anything to achieve, there's no point of us being creative. And then I don't think if we don't have a goal, then I don't think like there's like we won't be able to be creative, because like we don't know where we should go. So another thing that is important is to have a goal. It may be in ISAC, it may be in our lives. We definitely want to have like a goal on what direction that we are moving forward. And then so as I said earlier, like there's like a huge discussion about the resilience versus agility. So I personally believe the whole concept of agility, it comes with being creative. Like especially in this context, like as all of us were saying, like with the pandemic, everything that we did was stopped, and then like we all were feeling stuck. And then like with the creative minds that we have in ISAC, like and even in our social circles, in our communities, within our families, maybe like with all those creative ideas, somehow like right now we are starting to move forward. So I personally believe agility is also something that we can gain by being creative. And to finish what I have said, like there's a very famous quote that if there's a will, there's a way. And I personally believe like there's a small aspect that should be added to that. I personally believe if there's a will and if you are creative enough, there's definitely going to be a way.
Well, thank you, Dulanda, for that, for changing that quote and giving us a new definition to that as well. Well, it is, because if there is a will and if you're creative, male, there is a way. Because actually, because I've seen people say they have the will, but they're like, well, there's no way to do it. But then what's important is, I think that's what Dulanda added, that aspect of creativity coming and saying, well, I have the will, and well, this is how I'm going to do it. And then you do it. And then you find your own way. So I think that's very, very important. And also, I think, like Dulanda said, creativity is not something quantitative that you can measure after a campaign or after something of that sort. It is something of quality. It's qualitative. But then also we find ways with opinions to make it quantitative, and well, different ways of understanding. Different people have the different regimes of understanding statistically of whether it was successful, whether it was not. But at the end of the day, sometimes it is how you put it out, that perception, that idea you had, which was developed with the input and feedback from other individuals and your team members, do the best campaigns and the best work that you've done so far. You've learned from your past experiences, you've learned from other clubs and other members in other societies, other institutions, and you've done the best you can. And it's about developing onwards and upwards. It's always onwards and upwards, right? So we had a lovely conversation, and well, time is rushing. So we've got one more question to all of you. Well, this question was only if time permits, but then I thought this question would share some experiences from your end. So I thought, let's go ahead with it. Well, quick, short answers as soon as possible. Just share an instance in the ISAC career where creativity has added color to an outcome, right? Of the experiences you all had in your term. Let's go in order the way or we'll go in reverse order. Let's start off with Dulanda himself and then move ahead. So one instance of your term where creativity did add color, did add more color, or did change the whole outcome of the situation. Quick answers from all 7 of you. And let's move ahead into the next segment ASAP. Dulanda.
Yeah, so the best example that I can give is the event that we did recently. We called it Rollout. So it was a stand-up comedy event. So it was like something very new, and like there was a lot of noises coming from different areas. Like whether are we really going to do a stand-up comedy event in ISAC. But to be honest, like it turned out pretty well, especially with the timeline that we were having. Like it was our university exam timeline. Like it really helped a lot to our membership, and then like it created a huge momentum for ISAC to move forward.
Right. Okay. So, okay. Question to Dulanda again, just for clarifications. Was that a virtual event? Can that is the recording up in ISAC Sri Lanka page, and can the viewers view that as well?
Yeah, it was a virtual event and it was broadcasted then published in ISAC Sri Lanka at the event page of Flow.
Well, all right. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, there you go. So, the 7 presidents are sharing their experiences and instances in their tenure or their term that where creativity did turn things out way ahead or did improve the quality and outcome. So if they do mention events, do check out those events as well, so you know how creative these teams have been, right? Okay, so next we have Lahiru.
So Kavishka, what we did was in the monthly meetings, we had to come up with something to feel close to the membership. So we choose like movies, TV series and themes, the characters and the message that we can gain through the characters, the storyline. So we closed with those stuff. So I think monthly meetings were more engaging for the membership than the previous terms.
Well, nice touch on that, Lahiru, because I think it is important to get that creativity on, to get the participation going, like we discussed earlier in the conversation. And with that, we move to Vikum. Vikum, what was an instance that you had creativity changing things?
Yeah, I think I mentioned it already, Creative Circuit. So it was an event filled with creativity all around, everywhere. And we actually did it semi-physically. We had a part that was physical and we had a part that was virtual. So all of this organizing, like all of this together, it took a lot of effort, and the organizing committee did a tremendous job. So yeah, that was an event that was brimming with creativity from day one, like the inception of the OC to the end of the event. Yeah.
Alrighty, so that was Vikum's experience. And with that, Sandun, what do we have from your end?
Yeah, so this is an idea which came by a member of one of our organizing committees. So the event was called Prime Minds, and it was like a leadership development seminar kind of a thing for the school students. The idea, this is a very simple thing, but the idea she came up with is to have an official mascot for the event. So that was the first time that we had that thing, and actually it helped a lot in like getting the participants engaged and all that. And it was like designed from the organizing committee itself, and it had a name. So that was very wonderful, and I really liked the idea. So it added more color to that event as well. So that is the instance I remember.
Well, nice experience there as well, which probably turned the table around. And with that, we move to Minol.
Yes, so in my term, like I guess the most, like we have done a lot of creative things, but I guess addressing all the events, we are trying to do all events in a semi-remote way. So like we are trying to get them in a hybrid manner to engage the organizing committee and the executive board to deliver event in a hybrid manner. So like that has been giving them like a great exposure of what they're doing, and also for the viewers of the live stream event. So like they are getting like a new experience, like we are presenting in a physical manner, they are watching us live. So like that aspect has been like really attracting all the members and like bringing like a great outcome of what we are doing also. Yes, that's what.
Well, nice on that. Well, nice on that, Minol. So next up, Binoshi.
Yes, so in our entity, so we did this 300 minutes program where we specifically focus on our leadership body, and a couple of my like team members came up with this 300 minutes, and that the members were going through because of that particular event. And we made sure that we do it in this time as well in a higher scale. And it was great. We had last time we, like the executive board along, we organized it and we did it. this time we had a separate organizing committee, and they came up with these 4 events, and we managed like exactly it was for 300 minutes, and it was such an amazing experience for the entire membership, and we saw the output of it. So it was so
Nice on that, developing on a past experience, but with different creative mind and different teams building up on that for that. So Sandeshi, what do we have from your end?
Yes, Kavishya. So one of the main problems that we had during the term is that our members lacked a lot of education and experience because of things being virtual, and because our term was also quite short. Because of this, we actually came up with a variety of educational points. And right now, I should say that we have achieved quite a level of education with the membership, and we're very happy about it. And for examples, I can tell that we actually had something called marketing journals for marketing. Then we had simulations for all the products. We had a different series just for finance. We have something called an episode series that anyone can refer, which is called 60 Seconds with IM. So we had, all sorts of things coming up from all different functions, and we have a lot of engagement with those as well. So I think, yes, like just like Minoa said, we have done a lot of creative things, but that should be one of the main points. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Sandesh, for that. So, ladies and gentlemen, you've heard the leaders speak for themselves and their teams, and I vouch for the fact that they have been creative indeed, not only in their tenures but over there. But ISAC as a whole has been very, very engaged and creative and trying things in different ways, engaging with different personalities and all that as well. So you can always log on to the Facebook page of ISAC Sri Lanka and see for yourself what talent, what creativity these youth leaders have brought onto the table, and what good leaders we are looking at. The future generation is in good hands, I must say. So with that, we'll wrap up round 2, or the main segment of discussion. And ladies and gentlemen, we move on to round 3, the hot seat segment of ISAC Sri Lanka podcast season 3, creativity without constraints. Right. So it's going to be one question just thrown at you. Answer with the top of your mind, whichever answer that comes to the top of your mind, and we'll go on order, starting from Sandeshi. It was supposed to be 2 questions. We brought it down to 1 question. Well, 7 leaders sharing their experiences. We are short of time as well. But then how can we miss this segment? Right. Sandeshi, your question. What is one of the biggest gifts someone ever gave to you?
My 2 best friends always take me out on my birthday. So I think because they're very busy, and because I'm also busy and I'm not a person that, keeps calling, I think that's the best gift that they can give me, like a whole day just for me and spending time with me. Yeah.
All right. Kudos to the 2 best friends of Sandeshi. Shout out to those 2 as well. So keep doing that. And you can always, share treat. All of us are welcome. Right. Dinoshi, what is your favorite and least favorite ice cream flavors?
Okay. So my favorite is coffee, and I honestly don't have a least favorite one because it's ice cream. Yeah, everyone loves ice cream. So,
favorite is coffee. Go-to is ice cream. No least favorites. Go-to always ice cream. Right. So that was Dinoshi. So we move on to Minol. Minol, what's your favorite song to sing in the shower?
Okay, so I guess that depends from time to time, but currently it's Davasak Evi by Piat Rajapaksha. So
nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so can we hear part of it?
I actually don't recommend that because I'm not a good singer at all. It'll be better for the show, I guess.
Better for the show. All righty. So next up, Sadhun. Sadhun, what are some of your nicknames and which one is your favorite?
All right, I have about million nicknames.
We have time for the million nicknames.
Yeah, it has different, but the nicknames I remember is there is one particular person who calls me this in my EB. She calls me Kiriputa. And I don't know why, but she calls me Kiriputa. And Kohila something I have never known what is the second word means. Kohila something as well. And and all the females, like the female LCVPs I have, they never call me Sandun. It's like Sandun, and for like 100 use and Sandun. So like Sandun, guys, they are calling me every time. So that you can cover it as a nickname, and Bokka. So those are the ones I say that I like. My EB is calling me, and school times I had a nickname called Monkey. I don't know why. So those are the nicknames I had. The favorite one would be Kiributa. I like it. Really like it.
Kiributa, it stands out. Very good, very good. Well, I also have a very similar nickname, which I'll not say out. But then yes, because it's your spotlight. Right, moving on. Vikum. Vikum, your question is, what's the worst lie you ever told as a kid? But then we can always keep the kid part and ask, what is the worst lie you ever told? Because as a kid, well, we all lied as kids. So yeah.
Okay, I'll just say something as a kid. Yeah. I told my parents, and I basically asked them to buy me a computer so I could practice chess on it. I did not practice chess on it. I basically spent my entire time gaming and doing basically other stuff other than chess. Well, at least it worked out because it inspired me to be a software engineer. So that is what I'm doing at the moment. It was a big change. And yeah, it started with a lie.
Yes, well, gaming, chess is also a sort of gaming, you could say, initial stages, but then things evolved, and there he is now. Thank you, Vikram, for that, and we move on to Lahiru. Lahiru, what is one memory you wish you could relive over again?
The president announcement moment when I heard the name and the water bucket on my head. That's the moment.
Nice. How did you feel? Express a little.
First, it was like I was excited, and it took some time to it hit me out what have I done.
Nice. Very good. I can feel it that you are living it all over it again as well. Like this very moment you're living it, and we feel it as well. Right. Thank you, Lahiru, for that. And Dulanda, what was your favorite childhood television show to watch, TV show to watch?
Yeah, for me, it was The Adventures of Swiss Family Robinson, which was dubbed into Sinhala as Robinson Under.
Yes,
so I liked it very
on
much.
Rupavahini. Yes,
Yeah.
I think a lot of us enjoyed it as kids on Rupavahini, the cartoons and the TV shows they had. So yes, so ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of segment 2 as well. And that was the leaders of 7 bodies of ISAC in Sri Lanka. We had Sandeshi Bandaranaike from ISAC in University of Colombo, Dinushil Sanaike from ISAC in University of Kelnia, Minol Jayakodi, ISAC in University of Moratuwa. Then we had Sandun Tarinda, ISAC in University of Peradeniya. We also had Vikum Mujeko and ISAC in University of Sri Jawadanapura, Lahiru Dasanaike, ISAC in University of Ruhuna, and Dulanda Yapa, ISAC in Slit. So those were the 7 leaders that we had conversation with today. We had a lot of insights from them, their experiences, their ideas on creativity, what they did as leaders to become creative, to be creative in their tenure, in this virtual tenure, I would say. And that has brought us to the end. But what is it if we end the session without a message for the public and all of you who are listening and watching us? So let's have that round. Let's start off from Dulanda and go in reverse order. And let's see what message these presidents have in store for us today. Dulanda, over to you to leave that message with the public.
Yeah, so the message that I want to give you guys to become creative leaders is, so I mentioned it in my sharings as well. Have a goal in your life. It doesn't don't limit it to ISAC. In everything that you do, have a goal, and then get rid of your biases. It really limits you down into a very narrow scope, and then be creative. Don't label anything as good or bad. Let bad things happen, then try find a way to get turn that into a good thing, and then become a better person, become a better leader. That's what ISAC expect from you guys, especially from the youth.
Well, thank you for that, Dulanda. Very important message. And we move on to Lahiru. Lahiru, what do you have for us?
So when you are doing something, always be true to yourself and give 120%. And you might think we can only give 100%. So that extra 20% is for the people who is around you. always try to help the others and try to help them to come to the level of you, because we as Isaacers, we are trying to achieve peace and harmony within our around ourselves.
Thank you for that, Lahiru. We move on to Vikum. Vikum, your time to leave a message for everyone out there.
Yeah, don't be scared to try new things out. Push yourself. If you find an opportunity, just take it. Don't think too much about it. Just go and take it. What's the worst thing that can happen, right? Just take that leap of faith and push yourself to the max. Yeah.
Well, thank you for that, Vikum. And Sandhu, we move on to you.
Yes, so the message I want to tell is like, from your creativity, before you try to impress others, try to impress yourself. You have to be satisfied about what you're doing and about your creativity. And just like everybody mentioned, like don't be afraid of anything, try to do new things and try to think limitless. Yeah, that's the message I want to give.
No?
Yes, so with creativity without constraints, so like I would like to say, like, take all the opportunities that comes in your way and like embrace all the challenges. So like since the numerous hardships that we like come with is like the place where we learn to like emerge as better persons as ourselves. So like take all the challenges, face them, and that'll mold you to a better person.
Well, thank you, Vinod, for that. Vinoshi, what do we have in store from your end?
Yes, for me, what I have to say is that there are these two words that I've heard when I was says the art of making the most of every moment. There are so many opportunities that comes in way, especially in ISEC. There are so many opportunities. Don't be afraid. Go for it. Take this opportunity, learn from them, and instead that yesterday is history, tomorrow is mystery, and today is gift, and that's why we call it present.
Well, that is
enjoy and live up to every moment.
Well. Thank you, Dineshi, for that. And ladies and gentlemen, final president speaking to us today, Sandeshi. What do you have to leave with us and the audience out there?
Yes, so just like all the presidents said, go ahead and take on the opportunities. But when you do, sometimes you fall down. And something like that happened to me as well. And when you do, sometimes you think this is going to break me. I'm never going to recover. But let me tell you, it might break you, but you will recover, and let it, because you will be molded into a better version of yourself. So yeah, go ahead and take all the opportunities that there are.
Well. Thank you for that. So, ladies and gentlemen, that were the seven presidents of ISAC in different institutions, universities and institutions, speaking with us throughout the day and sharing their insights, their experiences, and leaving you with a message of their own. And if I'm to sum, it was a lot of messages which we can impart in our lives, not only in studies or in our personal careers, but also professional careers and in everything that we do in life. It is to have a goal, know our purpose, to grab all opportunities in life and not to be afraid or not to be scared to grab those opportunities. And when grabbing those opportunities, make the most of every moment in that journey and be creative and impress yourself with your creativity before impressing someone else. Be true to yourself, help others, and most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, live the moment. Live the moment, because you are going to cherish it and you're going to relive that moment over and over again once you move ahead and turn back and look at all those memories that you've made in your lifetime. So, ladies and gentlemen, the two ladies and the five gentlemen, the youth leaders, thank you for joining with us today. Thank you for all those insights. It's been indeed a pleasure to host and have been in conversation with all seven of you. Having worked with most of your teams, it is indeed a privilege, and it was fun. It was we didn't feel time flying. It's almost 2 hours now, and never felt the time fly. It was good to hear your insights, good to see and know and be proud of the fact that youth leaders are having so much of vision. We've got visionary leaders ready and grooming themselves to take on the future. And our future is in safe hands, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you once again. And this brings us to the end of episode 6, Impactful Leadership Through Creativity, which was the 6th episode of podcast season 3, Creativity Without Constraints, brought to you by ISEC Sri Lanka. Let me remind you again, the platforms that you can watch us or listen to us, that's Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor.fm, YouTube, and the Facebook page of ISEC Sri Lanka. And this is a production of the National Showcasing team. So ladies and gentlemen, do stay tuned with us and watch out for this space, because we will be back with episode number 7, which is Creative Processes in Contemporary Writing. Creative Processes in Contemporary Writing. And well, the guest speaker, I'll leave that as to build a curiosity. So watch out for this space and you will know who the speaker is for episode number 7 in time to come. And signing off is Kaveshka Pereira, your host today. And thank you for being a wonderful audience. Till we meet again, see you, take care, and good night.